Okay, we are now joined by none other than the wonderful Minister Sanet Steenkamp, the Minister of the Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture. Ms. Steenkamp, thank you very much for making time for us today. How are you doing this morning?
Thank you so much for having me. It's really delightful being with you in the studio and having this one-on-one with you. Thank you also to our listeners, and a warm good morning to everybody.
Thank you. So I'll start first, just on a purely human level. What does it feel like to have been appointed as the minister?
Oh, it's an amazing feeling. It's I must be honest that it's very humbling. If you look at why not many others?
Exactly.
Why should you be one of the 8? And of course, it's also a great honor. So yeah, I'm most grateful for the trust that has been bestowed upon me, the confidence, and also the support that and the outpour of the support and encouragement and that I got from people. That's very humbling, and I'm most grateful.
Yes. We'll continue right after this.
At my age, you start appreciating things you might have taken for granted before, like good health. I've known from early on that donating blood regularly was indeed good for my health. I'm too old now, but I've done my part in saving hundreds of lives while benefiting my own. You see, my risk of a heart attack, stroke, and cancer was always low because I donated blood.
Call NHP on 061 285 5400. We're about you.
Don't be a silent listener. You can air your opinions, ask questions, and converse with us in studio on 083 2888 401.
You are now tuned in to the Eagle Sports Zone.
Yes, welcome back to the Eagle Sports Zone. Let's continue the conversation that we had with Minister Sanet Steenkamp. Yes. So, you have a well-documented history in education, from your time being a teacher to being a counselor to being a director of education, and then of course your time as the executive director in the Ministry of Education. So with that said, can you tell the listeners about the importance of having sports being an integral part of the education curriculum?
I think sports formed me in a certain manner. I was a very good athlete.
Yeah?
Yeah. 800 and 400 meters.
Okay.
And all that.
Yes.
In all honesty, sports not just unify people. Sports also instill the necessary discipline.
Yeah.
And also national pride. And it's critical. And it's for that reason that just already started off in 2020, the drafting of our sports policy. We call it the integrated physical education sports policy.
Yes.
That was launched a few years ago, and we have the guidelines. We are rolling it out. It's very important. We need teachers who really take on this role seriously. Physical education within our curriculum. It's not a promotional subject.
Yeah.
And we can't have too many promotional subjects. That we must also know.
Yeah.
But I believe that we still need to do a lot of awareness raising, but also imprint on the hearts of the teachers those with the interest to take on physical education.
Yes. And so in the time you served in those aforementioned roles, what were some of the deficiencies maybe you saw when it comes to the intersection between education and sports?
Well, youth development cannot be fragmented. We were fragmented. We were separate entities. We were different ministries with different votes. A different vote means that you get money and you spend the money based on your mandate differently. When the ministry was merged from these 3 ministries, and from now on I will call them entities or functions.
Yeah.
When these 3 functions were merged into one, and when I studied actually the briefing notes and some of the handing over reports, I realized that there was a lot of overlapping. And when that happens, not much get done.
Yeah.
It's not easy then to track who is accountable for what.
Exactly.
So I'm very grateful that we now won. And that means that we can structurally look at our organization. We can look at the NSSU. its functions, etc. But I'm very pleased that we are merged. We identified what were the key matters, the key priorities that has been there already, but we're also looking at the synergies, and I see a lot of synergies between the sports industry, our program on quality assurance within the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture that time, and then of course also the youth development. So there was a lot of overlapping. Now finally we can cut out any wastages of resources and just focus on what needs to be done.
Yeah, and be aligned, which is also what President Netumbo had said during when she was announcing the ministries, that it's very important now for education and sports to have the same vision, follow the same track, and so on.
Exactly.
And so now, speaking of the NSSU, in other countries where they have a successful sporting infrastructure, the school sports is always usually the foundation for the success that the national teams and so on are having. And speaking of the NSSU, the I would say the past troubles of the NSSU are well documented, so we don't need to get into specifics of that. But what are some changes you're looking to see from the NSSU in these next 5 years?
Well, first and foremost, thank you very much. There's a very important conversation that we're having. School sports are critical.
Yeah.
School sports truly. So at the moment, the NSSU, if we look back where it started, already in 1991.
Okay.
So it's probably time to revisit.
Yeah.
The mandate, the structure, now that we are consolidated into and merged into one ministry. So you would want to look at the structure. How relevant are we truly? What have we really achieved over all these years?
Yeah.
And what are the key challenges that we are facing? So what was beautiful is that our teams already went out for 2 weeks into 5 regions. This is now inclusive of Khomas, Kavango East, Omaheke, Erongo, I think, and Tsaras. But there are still more regions to be visited. But the initial feedback that we are getting is that we've got capacity constraints.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, we have problems that point to a certain inefficiency to really, truly carry out the mandate.
Yeah.
So there is a need for us to sit around the table. Of course, we appreciate every effort, but we start afresh, looking with a new directorate now that will be formed. We definitely will sit around the table and see what it is in terms of accountability reports. How do we move forward in terms of restructuring? And we'll take it from there. But surely, one thing is for sure, we need to strengthen the capacity within the regions.
Yeah.
We need to
definitely.
do teacher training more often. We need more coaches, and we probably need much better coordination also, and a possible coordinator. So there's definitely, in terms of restructuring, that is critical, and of accountability.
Most definitely, yes.
How do we spend the money that's given to us? What impact have we made? Can we see the impact? Is it tangible? What's the tangible improvement? So, and at the moment, we also see that the activities in the regions are heavily reliant mostly on athletics.
Yeah, yes.
It's not very often that all schools have identified sports codes that they wish to run with. And I think there we need to strengthen it.
Most definitely, yes. I appreciate your transparency with that answer. And so, changing lanes a little bit, am I correct in saying that the manifesto implementation plan will sort of be our beacon, so to say, when it comes to what the ministry has planned for sports in the next 5 years?
Absolutely. So let me also explain, with the 3 functions that has now been merged, we have to come up with an integrated strategic plan.
Yes.
Our teams already, the second day after my appointment, we sat with the management and we said, now we need to bring the drafts that we have, bring them together into one. And that integrated strategic plan for the next 5 to 6 years will be based on the NDP 6 time frame.
Yeah.
But our NDP 6 is highly influenced and highly populated with key performance indicators from the SWAPO Party Manifesto Implementation Plan. That is the key document. That will be the beacon, as you said.
Yeah.
That is where everything was argued, presented, and then adopted to say that, look, we have got 5 years. We've got 6 years to achieve this.
Yeah.
Let's run with it. And that is the beacon, as you said.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that, because in the plan, there's this mention of constructing 121 basic sporting infrastructure, so one in each constituency in the country. At this time, do we know exactly what does a basic sporting infrastructure consist of? What does that look like?
So it depends on, are you constructing a sports complex?
Mm-hmm.
Are we constructing a full stadium? You've got different category stadiums.
Yeah.
10,000 seater, 30,000 seater. So I'm not too much into the detail.
Mm-hmm.
But what I can tell you is that in terms of budgetary provision, yes, we are very grateful that we received 450 million.
Mm-hmm.
So 200 million would truly be for the upgrade of our stadiums.
Mm-hmm.
3 big stadiums,
Mm-hmm.
but then of course also the construction of much smaller stadiums.
Yeah.
Now we must not forget, it's not just about the construction.
Yeah.
It's also about the capacity,
Yes.
not just to maintain it, but also the people to be appointed.
Mm-hmm.
So these things have to run parallel. Of course, what we must also appreciate is that the function of sports and youth already have set out certain plans.
Mm-hmm.
And with us as politicians just newly appointed, we are still sitting down with the teams, getting to understand exactly specific criteria. But what I do know is that there were certain sports complexes already, but the evaluation was done in December.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are to be handed over in the new financial year. Also the construction of sports complexes and multipurpose youth centers.
Mm-hmm.
And then something else that we should not forget is we need a proper assessment of all the assets
Yeah.
within these 3 functionaries, so that we can see, are they optimally used?
Mm-hmm.
If not, why are they not optimally used? Somebody just informed me this morning and said, please, Minister, don't forget that Reboth is the only place that do not have a stadium.
Oh, really? There's
Yeah.
no stadium in Reboth?
Well, that's what I've been informed just this morning.
Okay,
I
yeah.
was like, wow, there's so much I need to learn, so much I still need to understand. And if the listeners would grant us this opportunity, where I cannot answer some of your questions right now, I'll
Yeah.
gladly come back to the studio some other time and then be very open and transparent about it. But we've got the budget. We've got 50 million
Yes.
for the leagues.
Yes,
sports
yes,
leagues.
very important.
And that's
yes.
exciting.
Yes,
That's
yes.
very exciting.
The listeners, they talk about that a lot. Yes.
That's it. The 50 million.
Everyone
so
is
you
saying-
need to look at the needs.
Yeah.
What are the needs that they put forward? What development programs do they have for the youth? And how many of that will take place in the constituencies?
Exactly.
We can't just have it in the cities. We can't
Yes,
just have
yes.
it in the urban areas.
Yes.
Our children have the right there where they are to a proper basic sports field.
Most
A
definitely.
good quality sports field.
Yeah.
With a basic changing rooms and
Yeah.
the most basic facilities. We don't need to go 10,000 and 30,000 immediately.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
Basic sports complex.
Start from the ground up. Yeah.
We start from the ground up and we improve. So I think there's a lot of hope. There's also a lot of optimism. And clearly, now that we are merging, we also have perspective from elsewhere. We must not forget that we have expertise also now from innovation and education, and also the colleagues who were such an integral part of working on our physical education and sports policy.
Yeah.
We cannot be fragmented anymore. So all those experience and expertise must be put together to
Definitely.
ensure that we have this construction going on.
Yes, yes. I'm very happy to hear that from you. And so my next question is not I just have to preface it's not me like casting doubt on the plan or anything, but in the implementation plan, as you referenced earlier, there's plans for the 121 basic infrastructures, the 14 stadiums, one in each region, accompanied with the Center of Excellence and the 5 Category 3 stadiums. And so if we add that up, that's 154 facilities, we can say. And judging now by what's happened in the past with the procurement process, for example, for the Independence Stadium, and even most recently with the situation with the food for the public schools.
I also like to say something about the food, please.
Yes, yes, you're most welcome to. And so with all of this happening, the bidders are, I don't know if I can call it a loophole, but making use of this legal process where they challenge the procurement essentially, which then extends the construction of things and so on. So with these now 154 proposed facilities over the next 5 years, essentially that's 154 procurement processes that have to take place. How is it going to be any different to what's happened in the past, so that these things can happen in the proposed timeline, so that we're not in a situation where 154 times someone is taking the ministry taking legal action to the ministry because they didn't win the procurement thing.
You see, that's the beauty of democracy, where people feel like I'm acting within the ambit of the law. Having said that, I also appreciate, and please don't ever feel that you need to be diplomatic about asking the question, or cautious. We're having a conversation, and it must be an honest, sincere conversation. So first and foremost, we must also understand that some processes have already been in place. Within the, shall I now call it, Directorate of Sports or Department of Sports. So some processes have already started. Secondly, we will allot them. You cannot have 154 different bits.
Okay.
You will have to put some bits together.
Okay.
And so then you allot them. The third thing I wish to say, in the SWAPO Party Manifesto Implementation Plan, there are, if you look nicely towards the end, and it's about 68 pages. I would really encourage people, if you have a special interest in youth or sport or education or health or agriculture, please just go and look into that one area and see what the key performance indicators are and the objectives. So there is, towards the end of the implementation plan, which we call SMIP.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know that was the acronym.
SMIP, SWAPO Party Manifesto Implementation Plan.
Okay.
So this SMIP was very clear about the loopholes, about the bottlenecks with procurement, but not just procurement, other laws and legal provisions and legal frameworks that prevent us actually from being efficient and effective and accountable in the manner that we should be serving the nation. You understand?
Yeah.
So there is going to be an amendment, and the Excellency was very clear on that.
Okay.
There is time frames for amendments. The loophole is, how many times may a person go back to the review board?
Yeah.
We've seen it with the foodstuffs.
Exactly.
People went back twice. There was the first review for the foodstuff, for example. I just want to jump on that quickly.
Yeah, please.
With your permission. There was the first review. The review said, please, education, proceed. You may proceed to award.
Yeah.
We did. 9 companies. Then somebody went back to the review.
Yeah.
Not happy with those 9. A second time, second review now says, stop the process. You can't stop the process. In essence, we felt, and that's why there's a High Court session today. The matter is in court today.
Oh, like right now, today?
Right now, as we speak, on the 4th. But in the meantime, while that process is going on, you cannot let 465,000 children go hungry.
Exactly.
So what we've done is, we have, for 2 weeks, we've got food in our schools right now until next week. No child is without food. That's one. And secondly, we have received just yesterday an exemption from the Minister of Finance to directly procure for 6 months while we sort out all the legal processes.
Okay.
So that is quite an innovative and genuine way of addressing issues. So yes, there are loopholes.
Yeah.
There are silence, parts in the act, which people feel that, well, I can go back as many times if I wish to. But we do hope with the processes that were established already, the bids that were reviewed already, that we will, at least for this year, while we await specific amendments of specific parts of the act, while we await that, we can continue with the process.
Most definitely. Okay, that's very encouraging to hear, because I was, when going through the implementation plan, I was very curious how are these timelines going to be met?
It sounds daunting.
Yeah,
I must admit, it is. If you talk about 154 projects in 5 years, you must also be careful that we made a commitment there in terms of the funding. However, we need to be very realistic about the economic growth and the ceiling that we have. So for this year, we've got 450 million. Let us prove ourselves how we are spending that 450 million. Let us come back to the listeners to tell you, look, it's 6 months later, this is what we've achieved. Another 6 months, I'll come back and tell you again what we've achieved. But if we cannot learn to spend 450 million and spend it wisely, how will we be able to get into projects that cost us billions?
Exactly. Yeah. So this will be
it's interesting times.
Yeah, definitely. I call it that we're at an inflection point. Like we're either gonna go one way or the other, and hopefully we'll go in the good direction.
Thank you.
And so, speaking now of these timelines, in the implementation plan, some of the timelines have already come up, like site identification and things like that. And of course, you are only, is that even a month into the role now?
No, not even a month.
Yeah, exactly.
I counted 10 days the other day. I was so grateful. And I'm like, what? 10 days? I'm surviving now. I need to thrive.
Yeah. So obviously it's only been 10 days for you, but in terms of some of these timelines, where are we at the moment?
So I said when we met the staff, it was just a meet and greet. It wasn't the staff address per se, where I went deeply into the programs and the projects, and the respective mandates of each functionary. But I'm well aware of the timelines. Some of them have passed. For me, sometimes I miss being an ED because you're so hands-on. You're part of the team. You were there, and now you're at a different level where you now rely on briefings of others. So it's also an adjustment to me. So I need to still have the various. We as an executive management still need to sit with the various departments to have presentations on their mandates and the action plans. And so I need to still understand what of that. There were deadlines, for example, to regional governors in February. Now with the appointment of the new governors, of course we're going to congratulate them, but we also bring to them the attention that 4 out of the 7 key areas are prioritized, and which is prioritized on a country level. Resorts under our ministry.
Okay.
So yes, we will follow up on the timelines. I believe that the colleagues are on track. I do not believe in micromanaging, but I do believe in stepping in if I see that things are not taking the route in the timely fashion that we would envisage to have it done. So that remains still to be determined.
Most definitely. And so earlier you mentioned about the strategic plan that the ministry still has to put together, in conjunction with the NDP6 and so on. On the show previously, we had then ED of the Ministry of Sports, Youth and National Service. Now you're ED at the new ministry, and I had previously engaged him about their strategic plan that they had, and in there was there's a whole SWOT analysis and things like that. They identify their weaknesses, identify what they need to improve on, and so on and so on. And one of those areas was human capital in terms of now. In the various regions and so on, do we have the people with the correct expertise? Like, for example, to manage sports facilities or people that just know about sports in general in these regions. And that was in the 2 strategic plans that I saw. So the ones dating back from like 2013 and 2017 and so on, that was a consistent theme in there. So as we sit today, what, or in your view, what does that aspect look like today in terms of the human capital that we have or that we need to manage, for example, all the Category 2 stadiums in all the regions? Are you confident we have the right people in place to manage these facilities? Yeah.
Am I confident? Well, that remains to be seen. First and foremost, what we do know is that educational functions are decentralized. Under the regional council, we've got our regional directors. Now, regional directors will no longer just be regional directors for education, arts, and culture. They have got also this new portfolio that they will have to carry. That's one, which means that you need to provide them within their structures, which is not there at the moment. You need to now make an assessment up to which level is achieved, up to which level do we have in the regions. So it is now our opportunity for us this first year to look at, while we're putting our plans in place, do we have the right people? What do we need to add in the structure? Is it 2 or 3 positions? And what kind of positions do we need? Is it a sports developer? Is it a chief sports developer? Is it a coordinator? Is it a sports coordinator? So that is what we need to put into our structure. So our structure will change. We need to bring in experts. I believe we have them in Namibia.
Yeah.
It's a matter of finding them. Do they have the right qualifications, the right experience? Are they meeting the requirements that we're putting out there? And then once approved, once the structure is approved by the Public Service Commission, and we have the budgetary provision for them, treasury approval, we run with the appointments.
Yeah.
So that is something that is outstanding, that must be done, but we will only also hear whether there have been any progress in this regard once we sit around the table. And that sitting, I can't wait
Yeah.
to sit with the various directorates, you
Yes,
know.
yes.
But for sure, we need to provide the necessary support to the regional directors. But it's not just the regional directors, the regional council themselves,
Yes.
with the maintenance from Ministry of Works that have been decentralized. Because once we put up, even if it's basic sports complex or the multipurpose youth center or a library, they need to be maintained.
Yeah.
So that capacity is already within the regional councils. I don't think we will have a problem with maintenance.
Yeah.
What we need to have is clear established guidelines, but also then the budget, which is usually not going to the regions.
Okay.
And that is something that we need to look into.
Yeah.
Once we've constructed and the supervision and the oversight is there from the regions and the regional council, local authority, they all need to get on board. Everybody, communities.
Yeah.
It will be the community who says, hey, Buddha, that's our facility. Don't you dare
Yeah.
put a stone on those
Yeah.
windows, you know? So the vandalism, everything is community owned. It should be learner owned. It should be student and youth owned.
Yeah, and following up on what you said, ED, he explained to me last year that, when the ministry puts up a facility, let's say in Kunene region or wherever, it's then the responsibility of the regional councils, the local authorities to maintain the facility, to, like, leading up now to my next question, for example, get like a naming rights sponsor for that facility, for example. And so my next question is now, also in the implementation plan, the professionalization or commercialization of sports is a big topic. And within that, in the industry, they talk a big component to that is naming rights. So if we have all these facilities in place, 154, as we said, I see that as opportunity to sell 154 naming rights, essentially. Kind of similar to the other question, do you think we will be able to do that? Do we have the peoples in place in the regions that can really, in a sense, commercialize these facilities, or let's say get the maximum commercial value out of these facilities?
If you have true ownership, or if you have true buy-in. So for me, it's not just standing up and go and put up or do the construction. In Katima Milulu, they made land available to the amount of 2.9 million. So you saw buy-in.
Yeah.
You saw commitment. You saw dedication. You saw an excitement for new facilities that must be constructed. I just want to give that as an example. So in Zambezi region, people are ready to embrace. And I think, it's conversations such as these that we're currently happening. The more you're happening, the more questions you ask, the more we need to understand that it is through debating, it is through negotiation, it's through sitting around the table, having a true dialogue that you get the buy-in and that eventually you get the right people on board. We still have to consult more. We still have to talk more. Like I said, with the NSSU, we've gone to 5 regions. We need to go to more regions. The same need to happen at a different level. For now, we've got sports as a directorate. Does it mean we need to make sports a department? When it's a department, it means that you have a deputy executive director just for that area. So is it maybe time also to relook into that, the structure here, and see how best we can then empower the youth, the sports industry within the regions. So I think it's conversations that must continue to happen. And I don't want us to get bogged down, because any person who reads the SWAPO Party Manifesto implementation plan for the first time, and we don't have conversations around it, may feel that, this is truly I felt like that the very first time I read it.
So did I.
Yeah, it's quite daunting. It's a lot that needs to be achieved. The good thing is that the processes have already started. And we're not starting from ground zero. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. So we can just build and strengthen on it.
Most definitely. All right, Minister, my last question, a bit not as serious as the other questions. Please share with the listeners it's only been 10 days, but what do you what do you enjoy the most about your new role? Like, what's something that puts a smile on your face about your new position?
Oh, it's me getting out of the office more often and meeting up with the people, the youth, and I'm just in my element when I meet, when I'm at events, and I get to get the positive vibes and energy, and the fact that we've got so many people who wants to be part of this transformation. People who give their time, their effort, people who say, look, I'm a phone call away.
Yeah.
You see the support, that's amazing. So for me, it's, as an executive director, I was really a lot bound to administration.
Yeah.
Literally hundreds of files that went through your end.
Yeah.
The pressure is less, but it's also a remarkable excitement at a different level. Yes, you still have stress. You're accountable. Things need to happen.
Of course.
But it's exciting for me that I learn so much. I've just opened myself up just to listen, to learn, to read. And that to me is what stand out in the past 10 days. And the connection that I have going to an event, knowing that I'm going to learn so much there, but I also have something to contribute, and some sense of hope to instill, with our serious mandate that we have.
Most definitely, Minister Steenkamp. Yes, on the other side of this commercial break, we'll sign off with Minister Steenkamp, and then we'll end the show.
The best just got better. Parata's fiber packages that give you unbeatable internet speeds at unbelievable prices. Enjoy speeds of up to 10 megabits per second, starting from just 500 Namibian dollars, excluding VAT. Sign up now for these fiber packages that are pushing the boundaries of innovation, so you can enjoy more connectivity, faster browsing at even more affordable prices. Visit your nearest Paratus offices to find out more, or go to paratus.africa/Namibia to sign up online.
Always prepared. Paratus. Want to know about?
Yes, let's just sign off with Minister Steenkamp. Steenkamp, thank you very much for making time for us today. We appreciate you making time for us and your transparency with the answers you gave. Is there any parting words you would like to give to the listeners before we let you go?
Thank you very much. Oh, it's so wonderful that you allowed me this opportunity to be here. I do not wish to make empty promises. First and foremost, I just want to thank everybody. The outpour of congratulations, of support, of encouragement, of advice, also of constructive criticism.
You've gotten that already?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Those are the things that keeps us humble, that keeps us on our toes. You keep on asking yourself, how can I improve? Did I do what I had to do? Is there still that? There's so many hours in the day. Did I do justice?
Yeah.
So just want to thank everybody, but also to pledge that we will do our level best. If we can't give you 100%, we will strive to really give you what we pledge to this nation.
Yeah.
And we need you to support us in this regard.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for it. Yes, there was the conversation I had with the new Minister of Education, Innovation, Youth, Sports, Arts and Culture, none other than Sanet Steenkamp. Gave us some good insight into what we can expect for the future.